everybody, it's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Hey, we've got a little mini one sheet wonder project for you. We're going to create 2 cards with just 2 pieces of cardstock and a little bit of designer series paper. Now I have to tell you, the 2 cards we're going to create today are actually part of a full collection that is also a one sheet wonder, only you're going to be making 11 cards, and these are all very different. The 2 we're going to share today are just 2 in the complete collection. Now, if you'll give me 1 minute, I just want to share with you a little bit about the tutorial and the exclusive video that's going to go along with it. I am just really excited about this brand new one sheet wonder tutorial that I have lined up for you. I know how much you love one sheet wonders. I love them too. This one has a complete tutorial for you, 28 pages. How about that? So I want you to notice it's an 11 card collection, but you're going to have a diagram of everything. I've got a diagram that's going to help you lay out each individual piece, so you're not going to be confused. Each card has its own tutorial with the measurements, photos, everything that you need so that you can create the cards. Now, if you love one sheet wonders as much as I do, you're going to want to order this tutorial. You can find it over at SimplySimpleStamping.com. Just look in the upper corner there for the Simply Simple Stamping Store, and that's where you can get this tutorial. But how about today we create 2 of the cards from this collection? I think you're going to really enjoy this little mini version of my one sheet wonder. Guys, it doesn't take a lot to create these 2 adorable cards. Super quick and easy. Let me go over the cardstock you're going to need to create the card. So we are only going to need 2 sheets of cardstock and a little bit of designer series paper. So my colored cardstock for my card bases is in Lovely Lipstick. That is 8.5 by 11. We'll do some cutting on that here in just a minute. I've also got a piece of Whisper White, and that Whisper White is also 8.5 by 11. My designer series paper is from the Tropical Oasis designer series paper. Love this. It is a simple piece, 4 by 5.5. The star of the show today is the So Sentimental stamp set. I love this one. I love great big bold images, and this stamp set definitely has that. We are going to use the Thank You and the Your Friendship is a Blessing. We're going to use those 2 stamps to create 2 really fabulous cards. All right, let's get to cutting and scoring. So the first thing we want to do with our Lovely Lipstick cardstock is we want to score this at 5.5 inches, because what we're doing is we're scoring once, cutting once, and that way we get 2 cards. So I'm going to rotate this around, make sure that scoring blade is up and out of the way, because now we're ready to cut at the halfway mark at 4 1/4. And you can see that now gives us our 2 pieces of cardstock, our 2 card bases. Now we're going to bring in that piece of Whisper White cardstock. Now I've got the 8.5 inch side up there at the top. You'll notice that. I'm cutting this at 3 3/4 inches. So I have 3 3/4 by 11 inches. Let's take the remaining piece and we're going to cut it down also to 3 3/4 inches. What we're doing is we're going to be creating 4 pieces, 2 for the front and 2 for the inside. So now we're going to take these 2 pieces and let's cut those down. We're going to cut each of these down to 5 inches. So when we're all done, we're going to have 4 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 5 inch. All right, now it's time to bring in that designer series paper. Now I'm going to place this inside my paper trimmer, and you notice I'm just going super wonky. I'm just going to cut at an angle. I'm kind of making sure I'm somewhat centered, but there's no right or wrong, no reason to measure, cut. We just want to have 2 equal pieces approximately cut at an angle. That's what's going to make this a really cute card. 1 ink pad is all we need today. We're going to use the Tuxedo Memento Black. I love this ink. All right, so I'm going to take my Your Friendship is a Blessing, and I'm going to stamp that in the bottom right corner of one of those pieces of Whisper White. I'm now going to come in with the I Can't Thank You Enough sentiment. We're going to ink that up, and let's stamp that in the upper left corner of one of the other pieces of Whisper White. Now you're going to notice there is a pattern to my paper. So I do want to kind of make sure I'm paying attention to the direction of the pattern to know which piece to place where. I want my bananas being the right size, right side up. So you can see this is how I'm going to lay out my 2 cards. So now let's go ahead and bring in our card bases and get to creating. All right, so for this first card, we're going to take the stamped image, okay, so that stamped piece of cardstock. We're going to adhere this onto the lovely lipstick card base. Hey, while I'm doing this, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I hope that you'll take a minute to subscribe. It's a great day to subscribe, don't you think? All right, let's just add our focal image right there onto the center of the lovely lipstick. All right, now we're going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals here on the back of our designer series paper. This is really going to make this card pop. And it's kind of funny how just adding these dimensionals to the back of designer series paper, it kind of gives this really cool dimension to the card. You'll see what I mean here in just a minute. So we'll add the dimensionals. Let me peel off the backings. All right, now to adhere this down, I want you to notice that I'm adhering the bottom of the designer series paper with the bottom of the cardstock. That's going to make sure I get everything kind of nice and centered. But I want you to pay attention to the edges. You notice it's bigger than that Whisper White cardstock. Yeah, isn't that cool? It really makes this really great dimension, kind of makes it pop. So I really like how that dimension looks. All right, now that that one's done, let's go ahead and create our other card. So this one we're going to do a little bit different. I'm going to add snail adhesive to the back of the actual designer series paper. When I add it here on the sides, you notice I'm kind of coming in a little bit. Remember, the designer series paper is a tad bigger. And just like I did before, I'm going to line it up with the edge. Notice it's like nice and even there, but straight up at the top. So I've lined that up on my cardstock. Now I'm going to come back in with my card base and some Stampin' Dimensionals. And this time we're going to make the entire image pop. So I'm going to add these dimensionals all down my cardstock. And now I can just add that to the other remaining card base. And you see how the entire image pops off the card. Now that's real pretty and all, don't you think? But you know what? We're going to add just a little bit more. I think it needs a little more pop of black. So I'm going to bring in some of my basic black satin ribbon. I've got a couple black satin ribbon knots. Aren't these so pretty? And I'm just going to dress up my card just a little bit. Don't you love how that little bit of black pops? Now I'm just adding those onto a mini glue dot. That makes it very, very easy. Let's see, I think I'll put this under the word enough. I think that'll kind of make my image kind of pop right there. And now with these 2 remaining pieces, very simple, guys. We're just going to add these to the inside. It's going to give us plenty of space to write our message. So let me go ahead and take a minute. We're going to add those to the inside of my card. There you go. Talk about a little quickie one-sheet wonder. This one was awfully fun. Just 1 sheet of lovely lipstick and 1 sheet of Whisper White, little tiny bit of designer series paper, and just a couple ribbon knots. Such beautiful cards. Now remember, I have got a complete collection of tutorials, and this is just 2 of the cards. And I did this one a little bit different, but let me bring in all the other cards for you to see. Here are the 2 cards that I created from the tutorial, and you can see it uses that tropical designer series paper. But look at all of these fantastic cards I have waiting for you. Guys, I think you're going to truly enjoy the one-sheet wonder that I have lined up for you. Remember, you can find that over at simplysimplestamping.com. Just look for the Simply Simple Stamping store up in the upper right-hand corner. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of today's little mini one-sheet wonder. I hope that you enjoyed the cards I had for you, and I look forward to stamping with you again soon. Make it a great day, my friends, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.